Heidi everyone, howdy, nice to see you all. Welcome to Ludicrous Feed Live. Very special episode tonight. I'm Tom, this is my wife Joy.
Hello.
Nice to see you all, and what we're going to do tonight is actually run
Okay, so we're just approaching the golden Tesla
trip,
superchargers.
From 2 weeks ago.
Visitor information sign there.
And you know, you're welcome to ask all your questions.
Right here.
And we're here to answer them all, and we'll just obviously run through the trip basically,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
and give you some insights into to our trip.
This one, 4B.
So Joy, here we are in Goulburn.
Yeah. Yep. First stop.
Yep. Yeah, I find that you know, Goulburn is kind of the first stop for a lot of places. If you're leaving, you know, south of Sydney, basically.
All right, so Joy's going to plug in.
Canberra to Melbourne.
The one thing I remember about this
Plug it
charger
in.
is that you actually need to turn
Excellent.
right straight away.
All right.
We saw a few cars,
There we
and
go.
we,
So
we
it's
did
gone
that ourselves
green.
the first time around as well.
Excellent.
Like
we're off.
you go
So we're gonna
straight,
tell you
and
how
then it's
long
like
it
you
takes
miss
to
turning, and so
charge the
as
car
you're
here at
charging,
Goulburn.
you see other cars doing the
In
same
the meantime,
thing.
we're
So
going to head off to the
if you're watching
Goulburn
this and you haven't been there
Visitor
before,
Information Centre. There are some
you
bathrooms
turn
there,
sooner than you think.
which we'll
Yeah,
use.
that's right. For those
Okay,
who
so
know,
there are 8
you know what I
charges
mean,
here in
or
Goulburn.
what we mean.
We'll just move the car away from the other spot.
And there are 8 charges here.
On this side,
Probably
so we're closer
one of the
to
bigger
the
charging locations
information
outside
centre.
of Sydney, really, because it's just
Here
like
we are.
one of the
Right,
major
we're back
roads
shortly.
out of Sydney.
Okay,
Got to
so
stop
here
at
we are
Goulburn
inside the
if you're in a Tesla.
Goulburn Visitors Information Centre. Great spot, just a while away a bit of time while your car is charging. And of course, there's some bathrooms there as well if you need it.
I've tried to show all the amenities because that's
And just
important,
across
I
the
think.
road from the Visitors Information Centre, there is a kids' playground if you need it. Street here is the main street in Goulburn, so restaurants and shopping and all that kind of thing, not far away. And
I'd say probably a
apparently
2-minute
they
walk
have their own
from
EV
the
charger. See
the
staff
visitor
at
centre, the
Visitors
main street.
Information Centre for
Maybe.
access.
Maybe longer.
Supplies up to 32 amps, charging power up to 7.4 kilowatts, and it's a Type 2 plug.
Okay, so we've got a question
Okay,
here
so
from
we've
Greg,
reached
one of our
80%,
viewers.
and now Joy's going to unplug
sorry.
the car.
How did you fit all your
Go back
luggage
in
for a
the
family of
cradle.
4 in the car? You must have packed very light.
Excellent. So we charge from 37%
Using
to
the space
80%
under the
in 20
Tesla
minutes.
boot, we could fit a lot of stuff
Not too
there.
bad.
And
grab some
also in the front as well. So with that 2 additional spaces, I think it was a lot better.
I think having the front there was certainly very useful. Sorry about the audio, guys. Hopefully you can hear us a bit better now. How's that? Okay, let's turn the video down. There you go. Yeah, you don't need to hear the video. We've kind of seen it before. Okay, so we've got audio better now. That's good. Sorry about that, everyone. That should be better now, hopefully. Okay. So yeah, Kuma Tesla Supercharger, I guess, would be good to go there when it's actually snowing or when there's actually like busy snow periods. Because there's only 3 chargers there, which could be an issue if it's crowded.
Yep.
But I've seen pictures of this on PlugShare before we went there. We weren't quite sure because it's kind of at the back of Coles there. But when we got there, I think it was pretty good. The entrance to the shopping centre was actually very close to the chargers.
Is this the place I think our kids picked up sunnies? They picked up new sunnies?
Yep. It's good to go during business hours. The shops are actually open. I do appreciate that sometimes when you arrive and, you know, like when the shops are shut or the amenities are shut, it can be problematic. But we kind of planned it to make sure we arrived during business hours. Here's a question here from Mr. Shorty. Thanks for covering the non-Tesla chargers too. What did you notice most about the differences between Tesla versus other chargers?
I think generally with the Tesla chargers, there tends to be more of them. I think the minimum is probably 3, whereas with other chargers, generally, I think it was probably 2 usually, maximum. Yeah, I would say that's probably the main difference. I think if you're in a non-Tesla car, just probably have some backup options and just be a bit more flexible about where you want you might be charging. Just from what we saw, sometimes they weren't always available.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, I always say that Tesla chargers are just generally easier to use. You know, for me as the driver, I just want to quickly plug in and get going. And I know the RFID cards of the other chargers make it easier, but I mean, I think nothing beats Tesla currently.
Yeah,
the way
I mean,
it is.
it can be done. Just you just got to be a bit more flexible about it.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter Cook here is saying that Kuma has 4 superchargers plus 3 ChargeFox stalls. So Kuma's, yeah, look, you're right, Peter. Kuma does have quite a good, you know, offering of chargers from Tesla and non-Teslas too. So
It'll be interesting to know, like you said, snow season. What would it look like when everyone descends there during school holidays?
yeah, that's right, especially on that very first day. Question here from Ray. What was the gradient when it left Jindabyne and heading to Albury at the steepest? I don't exactly know what the gradient was, but I felt that the car predicted it fairly well. But having said that, normally, I mean, Joy drives this car with maybe 1 child at school pickup, maybe 2, without any baggage. So with the baggage on board, having 4 passengers, I think sometimes the car underestimated how much charge was required. So that's the only warning I have for you. It sort of uses history from your charging or your driving behavior. So it might be slightly different when you're on a road trip. But, I think it was fine overall, Ray. I think it was not an issue at all. We didn't charge at all from Jindabyne to Wodonga. And yeah, Charles is saying there were often reports of Kuma being iced early on, seem to be better now. Well, I mean, we went during a quiet time, so it's hard to tell, Charles, but I hope so too. Yeah, they're the ChargeFox non-Tesla chargers. I think these ones are working okay. I see the screen's all good. Good location at the Snowy Hydro Centre. I guess you can check that out while you're charging. Well maintained. Matthew Bayer, how many free kilometres did you gain from Regen in your trip? I think we showed it. We gained a few percent, I think, going downhill. That
big one coming down, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, we went by percentage, so I don't know about kilometres, but...
3% of our battery would be, rough guess, maybe 10 kilometres, maybe, I think. 400 k's is 100 kilometres, 100%, sorry. Yeah, Riz makes a good point here. Thanks, Riz. Reliability of the Tesla chargers is amazing compared to the others around. Yeah, look, to be honest with you, that's part of the reason why we used Tesla most of the time, because you could tell how many chargers were actually working or available on your screen before you arrived very easily. We didn't see a single charger out of action the whole time.
No, yeah.
It's very impressive.
I mean, do you think that's just because, they're better maintained, or are they just better to begin with? Like, what, what?
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? I mean, maybe you guys in the live chat can tell us what your thoughts are on that. I've heard lots of discussion on that. Yeah, I mean, there's. I think it's just the plug and play nature of it. It's just so easy. It's just there. You just plug in, and your account is all ready to go in the background. Are they maintained better? I mean, there's no human there either. Helping you out if there's an issue. Not sure. I have to maybe ask someone in the know. Okay, so Steve is saying, I was hoping you returned by the A23 Madura. Unfortunately, no Tesla superchargers, but a few NRMA ones. Is the only major A highway with no Tesla chargers. Yeah, I mean, we did consider driving back via inland by Madura. I'll just say up front that I guess we were a little bit concerned because some of those locations only have one charger. And I know that on PlugShare, publicly, some of them are iffy at times, so I guess we had a bit of a time constraint as well. We had to get back for school, basically, to get back for the kids, so we didn't want to be stranded somewhere. So that's just one reason why we didn't choose to go that way. And as again we said, Tesla is quite reliable, so we knew it would, pretty safe to use the Tesla route. Alex is asking, did you work out the cost of charging costs versus petrol roughly? Yeah, so have a look at some of the descriptions for these videos, and I've put a link for our spreadsheet in those videos, so check them out. It's pretty detailed, and just roughly, our charging cost was free because we had all the generous credit from you guys using our credit over the years, but the average Model 3 driver using the same route we did probably would have paid about $300 odd, whereas a performance vehicle of this nature would have been about $800. And if you're really efficient with your fuel, getting cheaper fuel, then maybe it's $350. So this is Wodonga. Look, Wodonga's a good spot, I've got to say. And if you go again during office hours, or during business hours, you've got the Cube. Is it the Cube? No, the library. Sorry, not the Cube.
No, it is called the Cube.
It's called the Cube? Yeah, okay.
I think so.
I'll show it later on, but it's the library in the Civic Square as you walk just through the alley from the chargers from the car park. It's a great library, new facilities, great toilets. And there are public toilets across the street if that's shut. Not as nice, obviously, but still okay. And then further down the road, there's some shops and restaurants and stuff. But having 6 chargers at Wodonga's great because, again, Wodonga's quite a big town. And I imagine a lot of people charge there en route to Melbourne. Yeah, Greg's got a good point here. If you're sticking to superchargers, you're generally done within about 30 minutes. Yeah, I worked out it was about 25 minutes on average per stop. Obviously some places were quicker, some places were longer, but on average about 25 minutes for our entire journey. There's the Civic Square. That's the library there in Wodonga. Yeah, Riz has got an explanation for why Tesla might be better. They're built better built with simplicity in mind for installers, connectivity, etc. So
I think I saw someone also mention there's no screen to brake, which I thought that's very
where's
true.
that? Let me find that.
I saw it somewhere.
Here we go, Deborah.
Yeah.
There are no screens to stuff up on a Tesla, but there is in others. Yeah, okay, that's a fair point.
Yeah, I have to admit, I think a lot of it was just, just damage from people, just from other people. Who knows why people do these things?
Yeah, we saw a bit of vandalism, unfortunately.
I couldn't think of the word, vandalism. That's the word, yep.
Yeah, which is very sad. Yeah, that's the question. What are the reasons other charges are out of order then?
I think there was one time they were basically like digging up the road or something. They were trying to do some sort of high maintenance thing. So it wasn't just one charger that was out, like the entire block of chargers was out.
Was that in South Australia, in Barossa Valley? Is that what you mean?
No. Oh no, that was the car park. Yep, but the one on the way back.
Okay. Maybe I'll show it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the mercy of external factors sometimes, as Joyce said. Now this is Euroa. I quite like Euroa. It's a very pretty area in central Victoria, and again probably a common stop for people en route to Melbourne. I think there was 6 chargers, one facing this way, and I guess in hindsight, we probably shouldn't have parked here because this is for trailers technically, because it's facing this way. But I didn't know at the time, but now I do. But yeah, this is for big trailers for Model X or towing stuff, and I think this is a version 2 as well. But this is a great spot because there's good amenities across the road. There's a river or a creek, good picnic area, good toilets, and the town is not far away, like a 2-minute walk, I think. I think later on I'll show a bakery we went to as well.
It was on the way back.
On the way back to Sydney, yeah. Here's a question for maybe you, Joy. Was there anything that surprised you on this trip?
I think it's that in terms of charging, it was just so simple and no dramas. Like really, not a single. Like the only things were like if we personally took a wrong turn because we're just, can't follow basic instructions. But apart from that, yeah, like it was simpler and was just so straightforward, which is really good. So it makes you want to go on more trips because it's like, oh, well, this was so straightforward. Let's do it again, basically.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
But you do need to do a bit of planning.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You can't, you could just sort of get into the car and drive, but it's so much better if you've had a look at that site that you're on. What's that site?
ABRP.
Yeah, that
Planner.
one. That one.
Highly recommend that one.
Yeah, and just to see where all the charges are and just sort of like roughly where you're going to go. With Tesla it's easy because it's just like here, 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 here. And, if you're not in a Tesla, I would recommend here or plan B here, here, plan B here, but it's still can be done.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, make sure you have a contingency for your stops. In case one is broken, particularly with the non-Tesla stuff, make sure there's a Tesla backup somewhere or another DC charger. Joe's got a good question here. May I ask, what's your plan for a flat, just in case? Every time I forget about flat tires until someone brings it up, to be honest with you. I probably shouldn't.
Yeah, didn't we have the kit in the car?
I've got the tire repair kit, which has a compressor and a sealant. And I guess on this trip, we were kind of on the main roads, really. So, I had NRMA roadside, Tesla roadside. We never really drove on country roads except for maybe one.
Again,
that was
due to a wrong turn.
What was the max real world range you could get from, say, 90%? I've looked through my stats on average. I think in the end, driving at 100 or 110, our range was about 380 to 400 kilometers for the Model 3 Performance.
But I have to say that I don't think we would ever have driven sort of like 100% to 10% anyway, because, the kids would have wanted to get out of the car. I would have wanted to get out of the car. So I just, for our family anyway, we wouldn't want to spend sort of like 4.5 hours in a car. So that's, we would want to stop before that.
Yeah. Jess asks, I assume you decided to stay at some hotels, motels with destination charging. What was the options with that regard? Lots, or did you need to choose wisely? So Joy did a lot of the booking for this journey, or a lot of the planning. What was your decision there, Joy?
It started off that way, certainly for Jindabyne. And then I guess because we were booking for school holidays, that really reduced the options. Also because obviously I'm still a little bit, with everything that had to be cancelled last year with COVID, the only ones that I would pick in terms of, the ticks that you could get were ones with cancellation policies. So once you knock out cancellation policies plus school holidays plus accommodation for our family and then an EV charger, it was like, okay, there's really not that many places anymore. So then I would see, okay, well, if we're staying somewhere with a supercharger nearby, then I didn't worry as much. I guess because Jindabyne doesn't have a Tesla supercharger, it has third-party chargers. That's why I thought, okay, well, there's third-party chargers there. My plan B is to be somewhere where there's a destination charger.
Yep. I'll tell you what, having a motel or accommodation with destination charging is so good. It just makes the world of difference. So wherever you can,
Definitely,
do that.
Yeah.
And support the people who do that for you as well.
Yeah.
Here's a good question. Were the charging speeds as advertised at some point when charging? I thought so, actually. Generally speaking, they were pretty good.
I think so. And certainly it's probably not what the question's getting at, but in terms of like how much time there is left, so the estimated time, if it says like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, it's very, very accurate. So you know, like, okay, I have time to go to the bathroom, or I have time to grab a coffee, or I have time to, you know, look at the shops. Or
Well, to be honest, Gaffer makes this point. It actually was a bit too quick sometimes. You have, like he's saying about Euro, you got to run there and back to get a charging overstay fee. That's true. But also know that if it's quiet, like if it's less than 50% of the stalls taken up, you don't have to worry, because you shouldn't. Especially if you can see the chargers ahead of you, you don't need to rush, because you won't get charged an idle fee. And even if someone turns up, you've got 5 minutes to run back. So I wouldn't recommend doing it during busy peak school holiday periods, but if you're the only car there for a while, you should be okay. Greg says, I feel the Tesla chargers are in better locations within towns. NRMA chargers feel like they're dumped out the back in car parks. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll say the Tesla chargers are in good spots. Like, they've been thought through. Like, Euro isn't a good example of that.
yeah.
Like, we have been to some NRMA places where it is in the back of a car park somewhere. And
There's usually less around. Like, you probably would just want to stay in your car, I think, if you were at one of the other chargers. Where else you're more likely to sort of stretch your legs and have a look around. But not always. Like the snowy one, are they? No, they're not NRMA, they're ChargeFox.
They're ChargeFox.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep. Right. Did you have much autopilot brakes? On the freeways and highways, not too bad.
Actually, way
Except-
less than I would have thought.
Yeah, way less, except
Yeah.
if you're passing a truck.
Yes, a truck and the shadow of a truck. Yep.
Yep, there's some phantom braking there. So if you just dial up the speed a little bit higher than what the truck's going, otherwise the car will try and
Or
match.
just take over if you're overtaking, honestly. Don't try and do it on
Yeah,
autopilot.
those B doubles are scary. How did the kids handle the trip?
See, I think a lot better, actually, because of the more frequent stops. I mean, I wouldn't say it's more frequent, but it's kind of like when our kids would have wanted to get out of the car anyway. And so they were like, they never had the like, oh, how long more? Or like, when are we going to get there? I think because you're sort of stopping every sort of 2.5, 3 hours. And it's always so interesting. There's always like something, you know, something new and to look at. Even if it's like whichever one that was, where they just went in and got, you know, a couple of like $6 new sunnies. Kuma? Yeah. So just anything to kind of, yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I didn't complain too much. If any, really. I didn't hear much.
No.
They're good travellers. Did the car feel heavy? Not particularly. We didn't carry it that much. Did you find anywhere where the maps weren't up to date? Don't think so.
No.
No, not the Tesla ones anyway.
Hang on, there was one where the charger wasn't, like we entered where the charger was and it wasn't correct.
But that was a third-party charger.
Yeah, it was, but
Yeah, not a Tesla supercharger.
maybe Tail and Bend as well?
Oh yes, because Tail and Bend's a fairly new supercharger. But we were okay. That was. We probably shouldn't have looked at the map because you could actually see it in the distance. So that was kind of our fault. And like we could see it. We're going to follow the map anyway.
It's like,
Trust your eyes.
it's like those people who's like, I just followed the GPS into the lake, you know, but yeah.
Yeah, we didn't drive into any lakes, thankfully. Yeah, so this is a great comment here. The problem with NRMA chargers is a lack of redundancy, particularly where only one charger is in place. If it's broken, you are very, very stuck. And that is part of the reason why we chose not to go via Majora, because a lot of them just have one charger. So one day, if NRMA decide to put more, if there are Ampol chargers there, we'll definitely do that trip.
And the other thing we're factoring in is that if anything does go wrong, it was school holidays and Easter public holidays. So the odds are it's not going to get fixed in the time that we were there. So it's like, you know what, it's not worth the risk.
Yep, correct. And Peter Cook's just reiterating what we said. Passing a truck on a highway when you're passing any median crossing or driveway on side road equals phantom braking. Usually it'll pass normally except in those exact scenarios. Although having said that, on a dual carriageway, 2 lanes, it's still
These chargers were nice at Phillippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. The Basque Coast putting them in for EV drivers.
Especially because there aren't Tesla superchargers there, and it's kind of like, obviously it's down by itself, so you need to have something there.
Yeah.
So it's really good that they've got these there.
Yeah, it's in a good spot too. You know, have dinner or something, park here, walk about 2 minutes.
But this is somewhere where if you can get a destination charger, that would be ideal.
Yeah, Phillip Island's lovely. Beautiful spot. We enjoyed it. No overnight parking here. There was a good big sign there, so don't park your car overnight. Try and find somewhere with a destination charger. Or a power point and ask the staff if you can use it. Oh, thank you, Jez, for a $5 pledge. Thank you very much. Jez is a regular contributor, Joy, so thank you very much, Jez. This may be been asked, but why didn't you use the Model S? It's bigger, more comfortable. Did you need to leave something in the renovated garage? So Jez tries to donate to our garage one day. We can put all our cars in. Yeah, good. We did consider using the S. Yes, it is a bigger car, more comfortable. But the 3 actually has more range.
And I mean, maybe just because it's my car, I actually find the 3 more comfortable than the S.
There you go.
Yeah.
And look, it's personal, but Joy likes the ride quality in the 3. She likes the firmer suspension. The S is a bit softer, does float a bit more, which I like personally. So,
No, I would not want to be on that on the highway for long periods of time.
There you go. We'll agree to disagree. But no, honestly, the 3 is fine. And also because I just from a, what's the word? Like overall perspective, I know more people relate to us driving the 3 who want to take a road trip. More people own 3s than S's in Australia. So that was
And
part of the
it's
reason too.
surprisingly roomy. I think, people are always like going, oh really, you took the 3? Like, I agree that's a question that we got asked a lot. When I explained, well, this is where I put the luggage, and this is, here's the extra space at the back, and here's the extra, like the front part was really, really good for our jackets, because, it's easy to get to, especially with the new power frunk. Don't need to like touch anything and get your, oh my goodness, because the bugs after you've been on a highway, right? But, it's so easy to get your jackets out.
Yeah, there you go. Recommend PPF ceramic coating. We do have ceramic coating, and it did make it easy to wash it afterwards. So good point there. Yeah, the power front makes a huge difference. Huge difference if you're going to go road tripping.
And then you actually use it heaps, because
Yeah.
I think before I didn't really use it as much. But now that it's just like a button press, suddenly it's like, much
So
more
much
usable
easier.
space.
And I think the watch app, you can actually, forgot what it's called, you can voice activate the front too
Really?
if you really want, yeah. Now, we're in Melbourne. I'm just going to say, I'm sorry, this is my gripe with Melbourne. And why are there only 4 version 2 Tesla superchargers in Richmond, in central Melbourne? You Melburnians in the live chat, please answer me that. Like, I was very surprised. I kept going, why is there only 4? Even we've got 10 in Broadway in central Sydney. You guys have to make more noise down there.
Yeah, I mean, and there are so many apartments.
Yeah.
How would anyone who lives or rents in an apartment possibly even consider a Tesla, knowing that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was like, I kept looking around the site because this is my first time here. I thought, surely we're missing something. I could not believe there was only 4. Oh, man. Anyway, hopefully next time we go down there, there'll be more. But the way there's delays worldwide with supply chains, I don't know. But very
To be
surprising.
fair, I think we didn't have to wait. Did we have to? No, we didn't have
We
to.
didn't wait, no, there's only...
Yeah.
I think one might have been out of order, actually. That car wasn't plugged in, there was lights off. Maybe Tesla parked a car there. Yeah, it was nuts. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, let's see. I've got some Melburnians in the live chat. Let's see what they're... So Peter Cook says, Richmond's very space constrained. Greg's from Melbourne. There is a CBD coming soon for past 18 months. It's not good. Yep. It's ridiculous, the situation in Richmond. Everyone has been complaining about that site. Good, not just us. I've got a shrug there from Greg. Yeah, Charles knows a lot about chargers. Isn't Richmond the OG Tesla site in Australia? Yeah, not much space there, I believe. Yeah, wish there was a charger location voting for them. We should start one, maybe.
Wouldn't that be something through TOCA, maybe?
Yeah, that's true. Tesla Owners Club of Australia do advocate for that kind of thing. Here we go. Some goss here. Was speaking with a Tesla rep yesterday. They were ready to launch the Y in Australia, then COVID shut Shanghai down, so they need to wait until that clears. Okay. I thought they were close. There was some dummy orders which got cancelled.
Yeah.
Oh, look, Peter says Goulburn Supercharger was queuing on Sunday. Not usually so, as the turnover was fast enough. You don't have to hang around for 9% if you don't need 90%. I need 35% to get home, so I left at 50-ish. Good work, Peter. Peter's an Uber driver, by the way, with his Model 3. Yeah, some of them are now limited to 80%, those really busy sites, which is a good thing, because some people don't know that, the new owners particularly, so you can ramp it up to 100 if you really need it, but just as an aside, try not to need that extra charge. It's really slow past 80. Okay, so this is now Geelong, or Geelong, sorry. It's not Geelong, it's Geelong. I pronounced some of the towns wrong, I do apologise. Someone asked before, what EV would you use if you didn't have your Tesla? Polestar? We've been in a few EVs over our time, haven't we?
I don't know.
I think I'd personally drive the Polestar. It's pretty comfy. But then you can't use the Tesla superchargers. That's the downside. I think Polestar is comfy. We've got the Kia EV6 at the moment. It's a pretty big car too. BYD, I can't comment yet. Haven't driven it yet. Looks pretty big though. Ionic's big enough, I guess. Are you doing a spider check there again?
You know, the actual spider incident was at a petrol station, so it has actually nothing to do with a charger.
So Joy's holding a version 3 plug there. You can tell it's version 3. There's only one, and the plug looks a bit different. It's a bit bigger. What tire pressure did you use on your trip? I think I just used the recommended, which was 42, I think. I'll have to double check. Yeah, there we go. Greg's saying Docklands needs a nice 6-bay. Yeah. Oh, we love Docklands. That's why we stayed. Plenty of space in Docklands. Definitely should have one there.
And having them by Costco's would be great.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Costco's already have all the, you know, the petrol, like cheaper petrol ones, so it'll be... And they're generally in places where there's lots of space, like abundant space, so that makes a lot of sense.
Definitely, and Ikea's too, and Bunnings. Yeah, Greg also says Geelong will be popular when Tassie Ferry moves down there this year. Yes, absolutely right. Geelong's a great spot for that. Definitely. Oh man, some of my captions are wrong there. Apologise, or overlaid incorrectly. Apologise for that. Yeah, good point, Gaffer. If Tesla opens up the supercharger network to all EVs, then they have to rapidly expand the network 100%. Actually, someone made a good point the other day on my video, one of my videos, that because the Tesla plug is designed for the Tesla port, which is on the left side of the car. If you've got a car that is on the right side, or in an odd location like under the wing mirror, or the side mirrors, how do you park the car? Like, I think the e-tron has got the charge port underneath the side mirror. They're not going to be able to fit, I don't think. It's too far away from the plug. So that's just an aside, which I thought was quite interesting. Do you use a charging lock to prevent people from unplugging your charger? Well, when you lock your car, it locks the charger as well.
And if you've got Sentry mode on, you can watch in replay if anyone was silly enough to try and pull it out.
Why did you not go down Apollo Bay on your Great Ocean Road trip? Okay, look, we have actually been there before, many years ago, on obviously pre-Tesla. But we wanted to show you guys Colac as well, so that was part of the reason. But yeah, I'd love to do that trip again through Apollo Bay. It's a great drive, I know. We've done it before, so we'll be back, I'm sure. What did you use to plan your trip? As we've said before, a Better Route Planner and PlugShare. Very useful platforms.
That was very pretty.
Yeah, it is a beautiful drive. And if you haven't done this drive, you have to do it once in your lifetime, because the photos and videos do not do it justice. Particularly at major points like this, the Arch, and also the 12 Apostles.
And that's the thing, like we know we only just did sort of like the start and the end of it, and we missed all the middle. And even then it was so nice. But as what Tom was saying, we've seen it before, so we know. And I think when the kids are a bit older, we can do it. They're probably still at that age where once they've seen about an hour's worth of it, they're done. So we just sort of took that into account as well.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, so Mr. Shorty's confirming what I said. Only 5 charge porters on the right side, so you've got to park on the wrong side for road charges. Was there any part of your trip you changed due to charger availability? Excuse me.
As in planning or when we were actually on the trip?
I assume that means that if there was a charger down, I guess.
Because, I mean, we didn't actually have to change anything while we were on the trip because they were all available. But, yeah, I think initially we were going to go through Mildura. So that was the one that we were like, when we were looking it up on a better route planner. And then we were like, even though it could be done, it was like, given all the public holidays and stuff, we were like, it's probably not worth the risk of something going wrong.
Yeah. It's like we spent a lot of time planning. Like we sit down, actually mapped it out. And we're just that kind of people. We just like to plan, so lots of contingency. So when are we going to Perth?
When there's superchargers every approximately 2 to 3 hours along from Adelaide to Perth.
Well, so. the WA government just announced they're putting DC chargers in on their side of the Nullarbor Plain, so that's something at least. Yeah, Greg says would love V3 superchargers at Lawn. Yep, correct. That'd be great. Yeah, we'll do that one day. I mean, someone else did say to me that you can do it with a 400k range. I'm pretty sure we mapped it out that you could, but we wanted to show you guys this area, Colac, as well, just in case for those who wanted to see it. Which also had destination charges too, as you can see. It's a shame that it was closed because we came on a public holiday.
This was actually Good Friday, was it? I can't remember now.
I think it was, yes.
Oh yes, this was definitely Good Friday.
We came back the next day, actually.
Dan Murphy's was doing a roaring train.
Packed with people. There's another nationwide chain that should have chargers, Dan Murphy's. I think there is a Dan Murphy branded tritium charger somewhere that I've seen. Yeah, Warrnambool's a good spot. 3 V3 chargers, shopping centre across the road there you can see, and also Woolies on the other side. So, shame about all the rubbish. Actually, that's one thing I'd like to comment on. You know, when you go to a petrol station, there's like, there's like washer, squeegee, bucket, water, bins. Unfortunately, when you go to these superchargers or DC chargers, there's none of that facility, unfortunately, a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's not that hard to keep your rubbish in the car with you until you
I'm happy to do it, but clearly by all the rubbish on the side there.
I have to say, it is a pet peeve of mine because I think it's a really bad look.
Yeah.
It's like, people who drive EVs are supposed to be doing it for the environment, and then not necessarily saying that it's the people who were charging that were chucking all the rubbish around, but yeah.
Yeah. I think next time I'll also bring some rinseless wash or something, a spray on to get rid of the bugs as I see them. They got stuck on pretty hard after a while. Yeah, Peter's saying, I'm sure there are enough Tesla owners in WA to exploit public interest, but promoting EVs now is pointless thanks to Shanghai. So yeah, it's a good point. There's a shortage just worldwide, so yeah.
EV7 Hills, there's a bin, squeegee, and air compressor.
Oh, yeah, that's because it's next to.
It's at a.
It's at an
It's at
ampol.
a service station.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. And you'll see later on we are at Tail and Bend, which is at a servo, which is very handy. Yes, that's true. New South Wales government just announced more charges for New South Wales. That's correct. Now, this is Horsham, Victoria. And I've never been to Horsham, neither has Joy, I don't think. But yeah, we were impressed. Again, if you come during business hours, great spot. And look for the My Car.
Yeah.
Said about 3 times, I think.
Yep. And the kids picked up new hoodies from Best and Place.
Yeah. So you can shop for your kids while you're waiting. Horsham is kind of the last charging point west before you hit South Australia. And they're version 3s, so they're pretty quick. I'll answer this question. Matt asks, would you do anything differently if you did a similar trip again?
Not really. I thought it went really well. Again, we just made a couple of wrong turns, but that was just our own fault.
Yeah, but they worked out pretty well, actually.
It worked out in the
retrospect.
end. Yeah.
Because we got some good shots in the setting sun. I suppose we'd maybe pick more hotels and motels with chargers, maybe? Would you do that?
I would if I could. I mean, I tried to. So that was always, when I was looking up accommodation, that would always be my starting point. And then basically when it said, you know, nothing available with your options chosen, then I had to untick it. So, yeah. I think being able to start the drive the next morning on a full charge, like at 80% or even like at 100%, would save you 20 minutes in the morning. So.
Now this is Keith, South Australia. The first supercharger stop when you cross the border. And yeah, it's okay. It's got nice, okay public toilets.
If you're going at night, turn your lights off.
Yeah.
There's that poor little house in front, directly with, yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah, so turn your lights off when you
Yeah.
arrive there at night. Just out of courtesy. So easy, right? Just plug in. Walk
That's
away.
the thing, like there's no, you don't need your phone, you don't need any other bits and pieces. There's nothing to press on a screen or go, what order do I open the charge port first? Do I put it in first? Do I, yeah.
Don't need that stress on a road trip. Sorry. Oh, look, Deborah's saying bug off is what you want in your washer bottle.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Deborah. Keep that in mind. Question for Joy. What accommodation app did you use?
I think I just look at them all, like, you know, booking.com, TripAdvisor, Expedia. Yeah. I don't use I've got like 10 browser tabs open, and then every time you click on one accommodation option, it opens a new tab. So there's like 60.
Joy's like a accommodation finder superhero. She's like, she's great. Dennis asks, did you notice autopilot helping fatigue? Yeah, I drove all of it, and yes, 100% every time I used it. Very much so, because with the auto steer, like your hands are still on the wheel, but you don't realize how much isometric movement you've got on your hands when you're turning, right? Even just like fine motor control, because you're just resting, like you're actually a bit looser on the steering wheel. You can concentrate on the road, and your feet are off the pedals most of the time. Whereas if you've got to steer, like it's, I don't know.
Yeah, that time when we went to Byron and I was doing part of the, I mean, I say I was doing part of the driving, but the car is basically doing the driving. I found I could actually spend more time concentrating on looking at the road ahead instead of, you know, just like hyper-focused on just exactly what I'm doing. I could just sort of like loosely hold it and know that the car's doing most of that basic turning work, and I can actually just look for anything unusual that might come on, any hazards or, you know, potholes or whatever it might be. So yeah, autopilot is just so good for highway driving.
Now here we are at Tail and Bend. This was my personal favourite supercharger.
This is what they should all look like.
Yeah.
In terms of like, the facilities are right there.
Yeah.
You just need a bin and a squeegee mop and...
This is so handy, right? Because look how much room there is. It's huge for a start. So it's less likely to be ice. There's parking spots galore. If for the ice guys who, and you know, when they finish, they can park elsewhere, see that. And look at the shops, well lit. There's restaurants.
And chances are this is 24 hour. So that's important for people who are doing, you know, night driving.
Yeah.
Also, at a lot of these chargers, we often bumped into other people who were doing little convoys, like with their family. So they would have, you know, one group in a Tesla car and then another group in an ICE car, and they would like meet up, which is so sweet. We saw that quite a bit. And so somewhere like this is ideal because, you know, the ICE car doesn't have to go somewhere random and then meet back. They're all just in the one location.
Yeah.
And that's great for the, you know, the transition period.
Yep.
As people gradually move to EVs.
100%. Yep. And we used wok in a box. Very authentic Asian
Which was
food.
surprisingly
It was
good.
I couldn't believe how good it
service
was.
station food.
Yeah.
But they fry it up on the spot.
Great. Proper wok. It was good. Yeah, definitely my favourite. And of course the Tail and Bend racetrack. Ridges was pretty good. So Matthew asks, would you consider doing 10 amp overnight charging at Airbnb, etc., to get that full charge? You probably, if you plugged in for 12 hours and you were at zero, you probably couldn't get a full charge. But if you would say 50%, it's definitely worth doing. You know, you probably get a third of your battery up. So yeah, if you ask nicely your host, I'm sure they understand if you need it. And Gaffer's saying a lot of places had charging at 10 amps. Again, I think it's okay. If you're not empty, it's a good top up for the morning.
Mm.
So speaking of vandalism, someone asked me that.
Here we go.
These City of Adelaide chargers were vandalised, sadly. They're tritiums as well. I think if that one is working, I think the one next door wasn't. Yeah, you'll see now. Okay.
It wasn't. I think it was the ones further along.
There you go.
Oh no,
That's broken.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, someone's clearly bashed it in. Sad. Good initiative by City of Adelaide though. Showing what the charges are. Tritiums seem particularly vulnerable to vandalism. Well, I think because there's a screen. People just seem to like hitting screens. I don't know why.
And it's such a small little screen, like, yeah.
Some people.
Unless it was someone who couldn't get their car to charge.
Charger rage. We'll never know. 4 chargers in Adelaide. Look, Adelaide's a smaller city, so I can understand only 4. But again, I think major capital cities should have more, personally. How different your trip would have been in a non-Tesla? Yeah, probably different. Probably would have encountered more waiting because charger down or people using the charger.
And we might have had to drive to like a backup option,
Yeah.
I think.
Situations like this where, you know, the charger is not working. I think they shut this one down because the car park was still under construction, technically, even though you were allowed to drive in. And I guess the one thing about Tesla too is the idle fees. It's actually a good thing because it encourages people to move on after they finish charging. Everything else that I know of does not have an idle fee.
To be fair, I don't think any of like, it was never an issue where we saw someone actually in the spot plugged in and not charging.
No, that's true. We didn't on our trip, but we have previously in Sydney. Yeah.
In Tesla or non-Tesla?
Non-Tesla. We were wanting to test it. I think we had to wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What, like?
So the potential is there, unfortunately. So this is actually a pretty good spot for a charger in the Barossa.
Again, was there only one? Is there only one?
This one?
Yeah.
There's only one. This is the only NRMA charger in South Australia. Most of them obviously in New South Wales. So this is a practical question. Is it actually safe to do an outdoor recharge in the rain? We've done that plenty of times, plenty of times, both in Tesla and non-Teslas, so it's fine. All the charger ports are sealed and waterproof. You'll be fine.
Flood, different story though.
Flood.
Obviously never drive
Yes.
into flood
I
waters.
think this one in Brisbane still flooded, Toombul, I think. Yeah. Okay, so this is Murray Bridge, cute little town with a cute little bridge. I think the screen's broken, yeah.
But these can actually still be used even if the screen is
There
broken.
you go. Someone's saying that should work without that screen with an app. Yep. This is true. It's not a great look, but yes, it still works. So when are we doing an Oz-wide trip? Again, I think when there's more DC chargers one day. I'd love to do a worldwide, Oz-wide trip. That would be cool. Yeah. We need more DC chargers. That's the only thing. I think with a family, just personally, it'd be hard to rely on AC charging in campgrounds and showgrounds. Particularly with young children, just quietly between us. Why did NRMA put one in the Barossa? You know, to ask them.
Do you mean one as in why not
I'll
two
put
or
one.
three? I mean, like, for me, I'm like, I also feel it's like, really? Like, isn't this a popular tourist destination? They should have had more than one.
Yeah, lack of redundancy, that's true. Oh, my apologies, Peter. Yes, okay, there's two. One in Berry, one in Tanunda.
And even if it's just because if someone's using it, then you've got to wait, you know, half an hour, maybe half an hour before you can use it. And if there's already another car there and someone's charging, then that's 1 hour you've got to wait. And you can't go anywhere else because then if you go and come back, someone else might be waiting. So...
Yep. Again, because there's no idle fees. I think maybe these companies should install idle.
Well, but there's only
idle
one.
fees.
Like, the minimum with Tesla was 3.
True. Did you need to use your own charging cable? No, I brought them along, but no, I didn't need to use them.
As a just in case.
Yep. So back in Horsham here, we are at the Charge Fox. It's quite cute. These are in a childcare centre car park. But there was a service station opposite that road, so quite handy. Oh, this is quite funny. This I think this one, the one behind showed Ionity. I think these were the ones. Ionity is the European network.
Yeah, but look, there's 4 chargers here, right?
There's 4 chargers. I'm not sure whether they can all be used at once, is it? No, you're right, there are 4. Okay, you're right. No, there's Ionity.
Was it 3?
But you know, they're right. There are 4 chargers, you're right. So at least there's more than one.
I think they're not all the super fast ones, but that's okay. At least there's another option.
Have NRMA chargers been reliable in your experience? Let's poll the audience, but we've used them before in the past, going north to Byron Bay, and they worked. They worked.
Yeah.
That's something.
We had to wait, I think, because I think, we went somewhere and there was like 1, so we had to wait.
Yeah, the winery, some of them did have destination charges. Oh my goodness, look at my hair.
Yeah, and because we were going during, was it Easter Sunday or something, I think? And so, or Easter Monday or something. So a lot of stuff was like possibly closed. And if you call them, you're not sure, like no one's picking up the phones. So like we did try a couple of options, but in the end we were like, let's go to Penfolds because they'll definitely be open.
I'm just pointing out that's the main road to Adelaide, I think. Here you go, Mark saying got stuck waiting 45 minutes for a Kona that was plugged in but not charging. Oh, that's frustrating. Yeah. That's frustrating. Greg had a good experience, used all 12 all over Easter, no issues.
Nice.
Right, so here we are at Bendigo, which is quite a big mining town. Was quite a big gold mining town back in the day.
This is an example of where you're saying it's good to be able to be really close to see your car, because we were eating at the Guzmani Gomez just behind, as you saw when we drove in. So Tom could literally just like, as he's eating, like, go, is anyone there? Is anyone there? Which you didn't have to, you only moved it when it reached the thing, but you didn't have to move it because of idle.
Yeah, we could sit there and eat and watch from the window. I have to say, I was quite impressed that very few of the Tesla supercharger spots were iced. Even at a busy shopping centre car park like this, I was very impressed.
And I always think it's better if they try and put them in a relatively inconvenient location. Like, don't have them near the entrances. Like, put it, on a back wall somewhere so that, people don't get irritated.
Appreciating the fact that some people may have mobility issues. So.
True. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Gaffer makes a good point, and this is we can relate to this. Experiences that I hate to rely on them, they are way too high fail rate, and they need to come in at least 2s. Yep, that's true, Gaffer. And part of the main reason why we chose to use the Tesla chargers mostly. There's the rubbish on the ground I picked up. These are interesting. These are back to back. A bit like the Geelong ones. It seems more compact to the non-EV user. Like, okay, they're just, they're not taking up much space. It's something about seeing like 6 to 8 to 10 in a row. Like, it seems to get up the code of some people, but maybe when they're more compact people, I don't mind them too much. How do you feel about Tesla opening up the network? I don't mind. Hopefully encourages more chargers, personally. But I think they should pay a premium, non-Tesla vehicles. We've paid a premium for our cars to be able to use the chargers.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, well, why doesn't any other car brand build their own network?
They should.
Yeah.
That's okay. Getting heat water system, that's good. Get one, they're great. Ours is going on to 9 years now, working well. There's the Guzmani Gomez, and yeah, we could see it from the window. And we were one of only 1 or 2 cars for the whole time, almost. See, when you're having a meal with kids, like 52 minutes is fine. That's how long we took to eat, so it wasn't a big deal. This is Avenel, so heading back up home now, almost. Well, en route to home. So look, if this is next to a service station like this, it's not too bad. Service stations generally open quite long hours.
Was there 1 or 2 here?
I think there were 2.
Yeah.
Now, Ampol is opening up chargers. This is not associated with Ampol. Just so happens to be at an Ampol. It's run by EV.
Oh yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yes. Definitely bare minimum, I reckon, if you're putting in a charger, put 2.
Yep. Yeah, I'm happy to pay a premium to use Tesla. I'm just going to say that.
For the other way around, yeah.
Even if it's more expensive, I'd still use it.
Like ATMs, isn't it?
Charge a fee.
Like if you use another bank's ATM.
Oh, this is quite nice. This Takata one must be a new install. It's quite tidy. I think this is almost the halfway point between Sydney and Melbourne. Takata. That's why they had the Sydney Melbourne sign. Question from Alvin. How often did you charge to 100%? During your trip, you seem to only charge it to 100 on a number of occasions. It's still recommended not to charge to 100 even on road trips. Like I said, we only used charge to 100 when we could see the car. Or like, we rarely charge to 100 if we needed to quickly get onto the next one. 80%, 90, 85, 90 at the most.
It's because the Tesla superchargers are close enough that you don't need to go to 100 to reach your next stop. So you're better off charging to 80, driving to your next one, just topping up that in-between range, and it's faster. Yeah, I guess that's the main reason, just because we didn't need to.
No. I can count on my one hand number of times we charged to 100. This is one of them at Gundagai, Tail and Bend, Bendigo. And all 3 times I was very close to the charger, or I could see it. How cool are the solar panels on the roof there of Oliver's.
So it was really only because you didn't have to, but and there was no one else using it, so you know, and we were staying longer because we were eating. That's really the only reason.
This food at Oliver's was quite good, quite nice. Got vegetarian, vegan options. But the service station, the Shell was about 1 minute walk across this small bridge. So not far if you wanted something else. I think there was a KFC there and Subway. So some other options.
Even towards the end, the kids are like, oh no, not McDonald's again.
Oh, look at all the spider webs. Look at the rubbish. Oh, look, Craig's got a good tip. Tip for Gundagai, order your KFC 15 minutes from town using the app. Greg is winning at life. Walk right in and skip the queue. Brilliant. Brilliant. So maybe when the car starts preconditioning, order your KFC. Oh, Adam, yes, I know. We will. We'll get to Ballarat one day. We did consider it. It was Ballarat up in Bendigo. Just flipped a coin. So we will get there, Adam. This Gundagai spot was very gravelly. I wonder whether it was because of all the rain.
I'm gonna say, I mean, I don't know whether it was always like that, but it seemed particularly, but I mean, a lot of the places that we went, you could see it had recent rain damage, so, but that being said, they were mainly at the third-party sites. I don't know whether it just didn't seem to happen at the Tesla sites.
It's true. Oh,
like, I don't know whether the Tesla sites are just a little bit higher up, or...
Well, watch this. The next... I think I'll show the third-party stuff. ChargeFox next door.
No, it was the other one at Avon or whatever that was a little bit...
It was quite wet, yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. My kids love that.
Look at the solar panels. It's nice. Yeah, there's the KFC and Subway just across that little path there. What else is there? Something else. Thanks, Alvin. Appreciate you being a YouTube member. Thank you very much. Thanks so much. I think I had a veggie burger or a vegan burger, something like that. Sweet potato chips. That's quite nice.
Yeah, I think I had one too. That's why there's 2 of them.
Okay, so there we go. We're panning across now to the ChargeFox stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't have been very happy to drive across that, to be honest.
But the actual charging area is fine. It's just having to get to.
Yeah. Good that there's a accessible spot there. It's good. At least they were working. I saw someone, I think there was a Kona there before us charging. I quite like showing the chargers, I don't know why. Something about them. And of course, order an RFID card for these. It's a lot quicker. See, look at that. That's awful. Hopefully someone from ChargeFox is watching that video.
Is that their job to fix the road before the charging bit though? That's the thing, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's still got to advocate for it, surely. Yeah, whoever's property that is. So some more ChargeFox at Goulburn. I think these were actually down.
I was going to say this. I think this is what I was referring to when they were doing something else with the box or whatever that supplies these three, and so because they're doing something with the big box, all three of them were down.
Yeah, not good. I wouldn't have liked to have been stuck here.
No.
It's so close to home.
Yeah.
It's so far. And the closest DC is, I think it was Mittagong. It's a fair hike still from here.
Isn't there one at the
Visitor Centre?
Visitor Centre?
But that's a slow charger. You want a fast charger, you gotta wait. We gotta drive a bit further towards Sydney.
But this is like all three down, which is like that's bad. And not just for like an hour while they're fixing something. This is like how long is a piece of string? Like you don't know how long it's going to take for them to fix it.
To be fair, this is actually a good spot. Like it's the service station's right there, and the McDonald's is just across the road, so it's a good spot.
It's a shame you can't rely on it. But I mean, we might have just happened to catch it at a really bad time.
Yes, so Peter Cook says, yes, in a few weeks' time there will be sorry, I don't know how many, but there'll be EV 350 kilowatts at Sutton Forest. Sutton Forest, I mean, everyone in Sydney knows, who's done any road tripping outside will know that's a great spot to stop. It's kind of like the first Macca's or first McDonald's.
Like if you start a road trip early, that's where you promise the kids, we'll be getting out of the car there and getting, breakfast.
Yeah. So this is where I thank everyone for all the credits I've received over the years. That's why we had a free trip, basically. So thank you, everyone. Again, I want to say that publicly on the live. Thank you so much. Our trip was free. We've got, I think, quite a bit more still. 500,000 worth of miles, which we'll never use because they're going to expire beforehand. But we'll try and do our best to do another trip before they expire. Hopefully 2. And this was us being very happy returning home to Sydney. So yeah, it's very good.
Just in general, just so much smoother and...
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a very good trip. We really enjoyed it overall. Yeah, I've never been so happy to see the Harbour Bridge, I guess. No place like home, as much as we enjoyed our trip.
And then back to the rain.
Back to the rain. Well, guys, so that's it. So I'll just put the outro on. But I just want to thank you again on behalf of Joy and myself for joining tonight's live stream and for all your wonderful questions. And if you just joined us, I see a few of you just joined on, including Ryan. Hey, Ryan. Ryan's another fellow YouTuber. But I just want to, watch the whole stream again on replay. If you've got any questions that might have been answered previously, you'll see it.
I'll watch the whole road trip playlist.
That's even better. Watch the whole thing, all 9 videos. You've got the time, don't worry. But yeah, thanks again, and we'll see you hopefully at the next road trip. We'll do another series if we do another road trip later this year. But I'll see you at the next live stream anyway. So thanks, Joy, for joining us tonight. Nice to have you on, and we'll see you next time. And as always, happy charging.